It gives me great pleasure now to bring on board a very special guest. And why is he special? Because of his accuracy to predict the US presidential election. Professor Allan, in the past, has managed to predict not one, not two, but nearly half a dozen US election president polls right. Allan, good morning. Thank you for joining us. I've been going through your notes. I've been going through your concept of keys. Nine elections. Well, thank you. More than half a dozen, and hopefully it will be a dozen very soon.
Right. So here's how it works. My keys to the White House gauge the strength and performance of the party holding the White House. And if they lose 6 or more of my 13 keys, any 6, they are predicted losers. Well, at the end of 2019, Trump was down 4, too short of defeat. But then we got the pandemic and the cries for social and racial justice. When I predicted Trump's win in 2016, I got this note on the Washington Post interview where I made my Trump call. It said, "Professor, congrats, good call," and in big Sharpie letters, Donald J. Trump. But Trump did not understand the deeper meaning of the keys, which is that everything changes when you're the incumbent and you're judged by your record. And rather than dealing substantively with these challenges, he reverted to his 2016 playbook and tried to talk his way out of them. It didn't work. He lost the short-term economic key, gauged by an election year recession, the long-term economic key because of negative growth, and the social unrest key because of what's raging across the land. So Trump goes from 4 keys down to 7 keys down, one more than is needed to predict his defeat. So my prediction is that Joe Biden will become the next president of the United States. And never in the history of the US has any White House party suffered such a dramatic and sudden reversal of fortune in just a few months. And Trump has no one to blame but himself. He is the president.
Allan, but why are the initial polls pointing to a tight finish? The general view, at least with experts or American experts or election experts, is that it is going to be a blue wave. But the initial trends are nowhere close to indicating that there is a wave in making for the Democrats.
Well, I don't think it's going to be a blue wave, but I think Biden will win at least Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, hold on to all the states that Hillary Clinton won, and that'll be enough to push him to victory. And right now, it looks like he has a chance to win both North Carolina and Ohio. Trump needs to win both. Biden can win one, and it's game over.
Do you expect the Democrats to get all 3, White House, Senate, and the House?
They'll certainly hold the House. I think it's going to be close to the Senate, but I think the Democrats have a better than even chance to take back the Senate as well. There are a lot of Republican seats in play that we don't know about yet. Georgia, Colorado, Maine, Iowa, and the Democrats are leading in 3 other states for the Senate seats. They need 3 if Joe Biden wins the presidency to control the Senate, because they'll have 50 and Joe Biden will cast the deciding vote. Excuse me, the vice president, Kamala Harris, will cast the deciding vote.
Allan, historically, what does a Democrat win mean for the economy? I mean, we're all closely watching this from a stock market point of view as well. So in terms of historical trends, what does that really throw up? What could we anticipate, given that we're now entering into a time like no other post the entire COVID pandemic?
You'll get a very different approach to the economy. Rather than just opening states with no plan, Joe Biden will initiate a plan to deal with the pandemic and safely open states. He's going to totally change tax policy, which is now oriented towards the wealthy. He's going to tax those making $400,000. He's going to introduce an infrastructure plan, and he's going to move into a new kind of non-fossil fuel economy. That'll take some time, but he's going to push in that direction. Donald Trump has pushed in the opposite direction, promoting the burning of fossil fuels.
Okay. In terms of what we've seen in Trump's reign as such and in the election so far, what are a couple of the things that really stand out to you? I mean, you mentioned how never before have we seen such a turnaround, such a dramatic turnaround, in one particular term. But what are some of the other factors that really stand out to you under Trump? Because he has been a president like no other, not necessarily for all the right reasons, and since you have been tracking some of these elections and presidents for many years now, share with us some of the most striking, some of the most things that strike out the most.
Yes, the point here is the keys are a very robust system. I've been correctly predicting elections since I called Ronald Reagan's win in April 1982, 2.5 years ahead of time, in the midst of what was then the worst recession since the Great Depression. And by the way, that got me an invite to the Ronald Reagan White House, where I explained what their path to victory was. Retrospectively, the keys go all the way back to 1860, when Abe Lincoln was elected in the horse and buggy days of politics. So they've survived a lot of unusual things, including the Civil War and enormous changes in our demography, our economy, our politics, and our society. So the keys hold through very big changes in America. Every 4 years, someone says to me, oh, this year will be different. We have an African-American running. We have a woman running. We have an unprecedented president in Donald Trump. And I tell them all the keys have held through even bigger changes than that.
Yeah, absolutely. Allan, I'm wondering what's your prediction about if indeed it's a Biden win, what's it going to mean for geopolitical relations? What about relations with China? Because we've all known how Trump has been famously inclusive.
I think we may see a revival of strong rivalry between China and the U.S. There's some rivalry now, but it may intensify. And we may even get a reconsideration of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which was an Obama initiative to try to challenge China in Asia. That was trashed by Donald Trump. We may see it revived.
Many believe that
Wall Street knows Joe Biden. And Trevor, would you mind telling?
I'm sorry, you blipped out there. Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Right. Allan, sorry, just a bit of a technical glitch there. Allan, Wall Street knows Joe Biden. They know Joe Biden from 40 years. But do you think Joe Biden, if he becomes the president of United States, could be a very different Joe Biden?
Oh, I think you'll see 180 difference between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Look, Joe Biden is not an inspirational figure like John Kennedy or Barack Obama, but he is a non-threatening figure. He's a reconciling figure. He's someone who's worked with Republicans. Republican senators have indicated they can work with Joe Biden. And he has emphasized in his campaign, along with dealing with the COVID pandemic, the need to bring us together and stop the divisiveness. Those two things will be the biggest challenge for a Biden presidency.
So, Allan, there are two concerns which perhaps markets have. One, that Democrats historically, they have always looked at cutting down the defense spending, which creates a multiplier effect to the economy. And second, Biden will be bad for oil business, which is again a key driver for the global economy. Are these myths, or these are concerns, or these are real concerns?
I think they're largely myths. I don't think there's going to be huge cuts in the defense budget. There may be some small cuts, but nothing major. And the truth is, look, the fossil fuel economy is the economy of the past. It's not sustainable. You know, if we don't solve climate change, nothing else matters. Climate change threatens our survival and well-being on this planet. It is absolutely essential that we move into an economy based on clean, renewable sources of energy. And Biden has presented data from Wall Street sources suggesting that his transition to clean, renewable energy, in fact, will create more jobs than Trump's plan. Look, the old smokestack industries, the old fossil fuel economy, that's the economy of the past.
Sure. Allan, great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with ET Now today.
My pleasure. Take care. Bye-bye.